Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there. Not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.
Hello, everybody. God bless you. Shalawam, Ahthah. We greet you today in the name of Ahayah, Bahashem, Yashaya, Rawach. Welcome to the Crystal Jones Show. It's the show that is all about life's balance. We are going to be going through this series of who we are, part 5, as Hebrew Israelites. We're going to take you through our Hebrew or Black patriarchal history, so that you understand who we are. We also, know that you may have seen different camps on the streets and things, things like that. But we're about, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, okay, who was a forefather of ours in our patriarchal lineup of people. So we want to explain to you how we arrived at that. We didn't just, come and make up something out of nowhere, right? Okay. So let me give you my information, okay, my contact information. All right. You can watch me every week on Saturdays from 7 to 8 p.m. on BronxNet.tv, channel 951 and 2137 on your cable channels. On BronxNet TV, I'm on the Inspire channel, all right? Also, you can go to my YouTube page, and thank you all for joining my YouTube page. Please continue to get other people to join so we can get the membership up and people can understand things biblically and whatnot, and we can discuss things. We can build the channel and grow together. All right. So subscribe, like, and share on my YouTube channel. Share my videos. Also, you can see me on Instagram at the Crystal Jones Show. I send out biblical quotes daily that are encouraging for people. You can write to me always, the Crystal Jones Show at gmail.com. Sometimes people want prayer or advice. All right. And you also can see me on HebrewConnect.tv. All right. And also, last but not least, I think I covered everything, right? Instagram. Right. Okay. So, we have a scripture for today that we want to share with you, which is from Genesis, the 28th chapter, 11 through 13. Remember, we're, for the next couple of weeks, we're doing our study on our forefather, who is Jacob in the Bible. All right. So we're talking about what people often refer to as Jacob's ladder, how God had come to him in a vision and talk to him about his future. So it says, so he came to a certain place and stayed there all night. This is Jacob, right? Because the sun had set, and he took one of the stones of that place and put it at his head. He lay down in that place to sleep, right? Then the 12th verse says, then he dreamed, and behold, a ladder or a staircase was set up on the earth, and its top reached to heaven. And there the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. So they're walking up and down that ladder. And then the 13th verse says, and behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, your father, and God of Isaac. Okay, the land on which you lie, I will give it to you and your descendants. So this is where the Lord is promising Jacob and his descendants land. Because when God speaks to a person and he's making a covenant with them, with that covenant promise comes land. And Jacob would later be called Israel. Okay, so we're going to be explaining that to you and, reminding you of where Jacob is from. All of this is happening on the continent of Africa, all right, in North Africa. So this is how, we came about. This is where a lot of our people who are African Americans, even the the Indians that were here in America. Well, they're still here, but you know what I mean. They were the first ones to be here in the land of America because of us being scattered. But this is how we started out, even though they just kind of cast all black people as Africans. No, we came from Israel. So we're going to explain this to you over the next coming weeks. Okay. So in today's news, we're going to go to today's news, and we're going to be talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case. I'm pretty sure many of you have been following that trial to see what's going on. It just amazes me from the beginning how it started off racist, and how is it that they have a jury of like mostly whites? That makes no sense to me at all. It's like this racism thing seems to keep creeping in at every crack and corner and crevice. And I mean, the judges are there and they're aware of it, but they just, try to play it off or something. I don't know. It's just crazy, right? So now, and then we also have the attorney that's defending the men that killed Ahmaud. Like they didn't want the black pastors in the courtroom. Like that was ridiculous. How dare you say who could come and comfort these people at this, a time of this is horrible. What happened to this young black man because he's running down the street and they're making up all this reason why they should play this vigilante role, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at when they're examining this man who was the actual one that shot Ahmaud. All right, so let's take a look at what happened in the courtroom regarding that.
So what were you nervous about while giving this statement?
I just killed a man. I had blood on me still. It was the most traumatic event of my life. I was scared to death. I mean, it was the most traumatic event of my life. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be scared or stressed or terrified or anything. I mean, it was horrible. I'm
talking about giving your statement 2 hours later at a police station. You were nervous because you thought you were going to jail, right?
No. I gave him a statement. I mean, if I would have...
You don't think you're going to jail, is what you're saying?
I was going through an investigation. I was following the investigation.
So, you saw Officer Duggan's body cam, correct? Officer Duggan, the first officer who testified, his body cam.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You were standing right behind Officer Duggan while all that went on, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you've just shot Mr. Arbery 3 times with a shotgun, correct?
Correct.
He's dead on the scene, correct?
Correct.
He's unarmed, correct?
He was.
All right. And your father came up to you and grabbed you by the shoulders and went, "You had no choice. You had no choice." Right? You saw that?
Yes.
All right. You're covered in Mr. Arbery's blood. You go down to the police station, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Any idea where that came from?
No.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay. And at that point, you're in the safety of the police department giving your statement, correct?
Yes.
All right. You've got all the time in the world, correct?
Yes.
All right. And Detective O'Hilly hasn't threatened you?
No.
Hasn't forced you to make a statement?
He did not.
All right. And didn't promise you anything in order to get you to make the statement?
I'm going to look real quick. He did not.
Okay. But you're telling this jury that you're all confused and you can't get the facts straight as you're telling the police about why it was you shot and killed a man.
I was trying with my best ability, but like I said, under the circumstances of going through a traumatic event, this is the most traumatic event that I have ever been through in my life. I don't know how. I've never been through a situation like that, so the reaction, trying to go through and trying to be as factual and as detailed as I could, and then looking through the transcript and being scattered as it was, I could tell that obviously I failed attempting to try as best I could. This is what you got. I tried, and this is what happened.
So, fair to say you never told Detective Nohilly, nor wrote down in your written statement that you told Mr. Arbery the police were on their way?
It seems that I attempted to say it in these words here.
And at that point, Mr. Arbery turns around and runs back down Burford to get away from you, correct?
That's correct.
So at this point in time, he's running away from you. He has not threatened you.
No.
Hasn't pulled out a gun.
No, ma'am.
Hasn't pulled out a knife.
He did not.
Still arms at his sides.
That's correct.
And he's trying to get away from you.
And I was letting him run away. Yes, ma'am.
You were letting him run away.
That's correct.
Wasn't it your intention to go around the block and cut him off and find him over on the other side?
To head him off and to see where he's located. That was my intention. Yes, ma'am.
All right. But you could have stopped right there and not done anything, right?
Yes, but then immediately after is when I saw his interaction with the black truck and realized that there is something to my suspicions here, and I would like to see where he is at when the cops come, which I assume that the police were on the way, that I would be able to tell them where he's at if they haven't located him at that point.
So you're telling this jury that your whole intention was just to go ahead and follow Mr. Arbery, keep an eye on him, and to just tell the cops there he is?
At that point, yes, ma'am.
Now, it's true that your father, while in the truck with you, going down Burford towards that end, was yelling at you, cut him off, cut him off, cut him off, right?
He was talking to me or was telling me, I don't know if he was saying cut him off or not. I know that he was saying there he is, that's the guy. After that, I am not sure exactly what he said.
And at this point, you're still yelling at Mr. Arbery to stop at the end of Burford.
I was not yelling at him on Burford, no ma'am.
And at the end of Burford, you and your dad both got out of the pickup truck, correct?
When he turned and started running down Burford, when he was away, when he was not a threat, if he wanted to be a threat and he was going past that, yeah, I got out of the truck, yes ma'am. When he turned and running away is when I got out of the vehicle.
Why in the world would Mr. Arbery be a threat to you?
Because of when I asked him what was going on and recognized that it was the guy that I saw on the 11th, and Mr. Albenzi pointing, everything going down, and realized that it is him, and then how he reacted when I shined the lights on him on the 11th. He acted like he did not want to be. He was obviously caught sneaking through the front yard. He was obviously where he wasn't supposed to be, where he hasn't been several times, and then he reaches into his pants. I think he has a gun, and I took that as a threatening gesture and walked in the house. Now it's the same guy on the 23rd that I've just pulled up to that turned out my father was correct. People pointing down the road, the same scene that this happened 12 days prior, that yes, there was a possibility that he may be armed with that gesture, but he didn't show me that, and he started running down the road. I was no longer under a threat if there was to be one, so I got out of the vehicle after my father got out of the vehicle to see what was going on and watch him.
So when you first pulled up to him, very first time, you confirmed it was him, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You testified under oath to this jury that I'm not going to chase or investigate someone who is armed, right?
That's correct.
And yet you want this jury to believe now that he was a threat to you, okay, and that you perceived him as a threat, yet you continued to chase him down Burford.
I didn't know if he was a threat or not. He never reached in his pockets, and I wanted to see what was happening. I figured I could talk to him at this point, or, getting up to him on the second point.
But hadn't at this point he demonstrated not once, not twice, but 3 times he did not want to talk to you?
When I'm at the stop, when I stopped the Burford?
Mm-hmm. Right, because you pulled up to him once, he doesn't want to talk to you. You back up, he doesn't want to talk to you. You pull down Burford, your dad's yelling, cut him off, and all of a sudden he runs back, he doesn't want to talk to you. That's 3 times he's demonstrated to you that he does not want to talk to you, correct?
Yes.
And he's also demonstrated he's no threat to you. He hasn't pulled out a gun.
That's correct.
He hasn't said one word to you.
He has not.
He's not threatened you in any way, verbally or physically.
No, ma'am.
No knives.
No knives.
All right. He's not swearing at you, using profanity or anything like that, is he?
Didn't talk.
So at this point, you get out of the truck, correct?
That's correct.
And you get out with your shotgun.
No, I got out when my father got out to get in the back, and then my shotgun slipped and was in the floorboard where my feet were all over it. Once I'm out of the vehicle, it was safe to, I'm not going to reach out. I wasn't going to grab it while Mr. Arbery was right there. There was no reason for it. He's run off. I'm on the side of the truck, so at that point, I grabbed the shotgun out of the floorboard and put it back on the seat.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Okay, so you saw the video, right? And it sounds to me like this guy's a liar. Because first of all, this is basically a predominantly white neighborhood, right? But in this neighborhood, if you watch other videos, there are a lot of videos on this, they have construction going on in different houses, and people all the time, I saw videos where people just go in and look. They want to see what's going on. That's the norm for that area. But you come with a shotgun, because you saw him at the property days ago. So you and your father feel that you're going to cut this man off when you see him. Oh, there he goes. Who are you? You're not the police. Why are you chasing this man? So he sees you and your crazy people chasing him. So of course he's going to run. And I don't know if he made some kind of gesture or whatever, maybe because he was scared so that they would leave him alone or whatever. Still, he had no gun. He had no knife or anything like that. But you all were cutting him off in your car. And each time you cut him off, he ran from you. That should tell you he didn't have a weapon. If he kept running from you, he wanted nothing to do with you. If anything, he was afraid of you because you were acting like a fool, chasing him down the street with your car. Okay, why is it that these white supremacists seem like they just feel that they should run after black people or anybody with rifles, like they're on some hunting spree? It doesn't make sense. So they just blatantly kill that man. All right. They're not ashamed of it. They don't care. One less N-word or whatever, however their thought process is. But I'm talking about racist white people. I'm not talking about white people that have sense and don't do crazy stuff like that. But these are supremacists. All right. They chased this man down because he was black. He was running through the neighborhood. They didn't like it. They wanted to get rid of him. That's it. That's all. Because, it took 3 of them. This man, this guy here and his father, and then their neighbor, they're all chasing this one guy down. So they're a bunch of liars, and they deserve to be locked up. They do, because it's nothing but murder. So now I'm going to also put that in with the Rittenhouse case. All right. In my opinion, Rittenhouse got off because he shot 3 white men, 2 of which he killed. All right. And got away with it. All right. That was just them sending a message to white people who want to do what's right, because those white people were they were marching along with blacks who were against the what could I say? There was a black man, Jacob Blake, that had been shot by police 7 times. And the story keeps changing of why. So then that's another lie that they're putting out. They're trying to say, oh, he had a warrant. Oh, he had this. Oh, he had that. But this man walked to his car and they shot him 7 times in front of his kids. His kids were there in the car. Now, from what I've been told, he was there breaking up a fight. And the cops came, and I guess they wanted to talk to him. He went to his car, I guess, to tend to the children, from what I understand. And the cop just decided, let's just shoot another black person, right? So they shot him. Now the man is paralyzed. All right. Who cares, right? So, that's the feeling that I'm getting. Is like, oh, it's just another black person. Who cares, right? So they started marching. And in marching, I don't condone the violence as far as them looting businesses or anything like that. But I understand the dynamics of the mindset behind that, because in this country, black people are always put at the bottom and people are allowed to do whatever they feel like doing to us. So no matter how much we tried the Martin Luther King way and all of that kind of stuff, it looks like the peaceful way just does not work when it comes to white racism, right? So then you have people, that are just going to lose it and all of that. And that part of it is wrong. But not every black person was looting or, doing something wrong. So you have Rittenhouse, who decides to come from another city with a shotgun. Another one with the shotgun, walking through the streets, deciding he's going to be this vigilante type. He's going to come and he's going to cause calm in the area. And he's walking around like, yeah, I got this, right? He's walking up and down. And then he gets into this confrontation with these 3 white men who were, along with the black people, for the justice of what happened to Jacob Blake. So he decides to kill 2 white men. All right. The other one was injured. But it was just the fact that he got away with it was sending a message to white America that if you're not on our side for the destruction of the black race, we're going to kill you too and get away with it. That's all that happened. He got away with murder because he is a racist. Okay. And it's a shame, because even in the news, it says, after the Rittenhouse verdict, will white freedom spell the ruin of America? White freedom could bring the ultimate ruin of America. By that term, I do not simply mean white privilege or racist behavior that violates social norms and is considered unacceptable or apparent. White freedom is much more powerful than that. It is a core organizing principle of American society. Okay, this country was built on racism. The lies that they told you about Christopher Columbus, that, oh, Columbus sailed the ocean blue and they had Thanksgiving with the Indians. No, they did not. They gave those Indian people, who are one of the 12 tribes that was scattered, they're the tribe of Gad, and they knew it when they got there. Him and one of the queens from over there in Europe, they knew good and well that Jews were originally black people, and they knew that. But after the Renaissance, they started this lie about how Jesus Christ was a white man. He was a white European man. I don't know how you could be white European from Africa, okay? And they started all these lies. Once we came over here in ships with slavery and all of that kind of stuff, the whole narrative of history changed, because they started painting their images on they started painting their faces on our images and all of that kind of stuff. But that still did not change what really was in history. You just go through the Bible and it tells you, if we were made from the dust of the dirt of the earth, the first humans were black people. And for a long time, there were no white people. That's why white people have recessive genes and we have dominant genes. Now, over time, they became white because of vitiligo, the different skin diseases, and then they started moving to what they call the Caucasus Mountains. All right. So really, we're all basically the same people, but because America started off with their lies, they wanted to bring European people over here, because what happened? The resources and stuff that they destroyed there, they had destroyed, in Europe, they decided to come over here so that they can get the resources here. So yes, white supremacy will be the ruin of this country, because it goes beyond just them being the top. What's going to happen is they're going to start fighting against each other, because now it's already started with them killing white people again, who are for what's right, who are for justice and things like that. And that's going to continue. And you're going to see the different states who are talking about they're going to pull out of the union and all of that kind of stuff. That's the greed. The greed of white supremacy is going to bring it. In my opinion, that's going to be the ruin of the country. All right. So now we're going to go to our missing youth. Today we have, let me see, where are my, let's see what happened to the missing youth on here. I know I had it. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 minute to find, here we go, the missing youth. Okay. Today's missing youth are two of the, I think they're both like repeats, but apparently they haven't been found. And the first one we have is Catrice Taylor. Okay, she's been missing since November 15th of 21. All right, she's been missing from Syosset, New York. And she's 14 years old. She's a black female. She has brown eye color. She's the height of 5 feet 2 inches. She's 243 pounds. If you see her, if you know anything about it, don't sit back if you know, because if that was your child, you would want somebody to report what's going on. All right. So let's get Catrice back to her family. All right. And then the next person that we have, who is also, I believe, a repeat on the show, I don't think he's been found yet. His name is Frankie Muhammad. Frankie Muhammad has been missing since October the 28th of 2021. All right. He's missing from Amityville, New York. He's a black male. He has brown hair. He's 5'5" and 118 pounds. If you know Frankie, if you know what's going on, Frankie, if you're watching or whatever, and you're where you can, get to a phone, please let somebody know of where you are, what's going on. If anybody knows anything, please report that to missingkids.org and the local police. All right. So today we are going to move on to health and wellness tips. Please, y'all, it's cold outside. Take your vitamin C and your zinc, especially during these cold months. You need vitamin C. You definitely need a multivitamin that you should be taking all the time. But you need to really get going with the vitamin C and the zinc during these cold months, all right? So that you don't catch any, diseases or anything like that. It helps your system, your immune system, to fight against different diseases. All right, now we're going to move on to the business tips. All right, what I would suggest, offer live feedback sessions sometime with your clients online. Have a get together, pick some of your clients that, are maybe repeats and as well as new. And sometimes just seeing their faces and them seeing your faces of who you are, your products that, you sell or whatever. and getting a feel for what they like and what they don't like. That could help your business, you know, to move on to the next level, because they may give you an idea of something that you never thought of. You know, you may not know why they don't like a product, or there may be a product that they do like that you could, you know, make available to them. All right, so that's my business tip for today. All right, so we're going to say our credo, Shema Yasharala, Ahayah Eloheinu, Ahayah Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord our God, he is one. Now, we've been going over Jacob and Israel, Jacob, who is Israel, rather, and the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, I'm going to mention to you it again, being that the tribes were scattered after 70 AD, and our people ran into different parts of Africa. Why? Because we looked like them, so we could hide there. So these are the different 12 tribes. The tribe of Judah are today's Negroes, the black people here in America mostly. And, you know, we were scattered to the four corners of the earth. If you read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, we fit all those curses. There's nobody else on this planet that fit these curses but us. All right. The tribe of Reuben are the black people in Australia, you know, that area. The tribe of Gad are the North American Seminole Indians. Those are different tribes there. They were scattered here to America. They were the first people, basically, that were here in America. They've been in America for hundreds of years before Christopher Columbus even came, or was thought about, or even came here. All right. The tribe of Asher are the Colombian, Brazilian, Venezuelan. All right. Blacks there. Naphtali, the Isles of Hawaii, the Pacific Islands, the Vietnamese, the Filipino, you know, that's that tribe of people. The tribe of Manasseh are the Cubans, the black Cubans. You're the tribe of Manasseh. The tribe of Simeon is the Dominican Republic. The black, you know, Dominicans are the tribe of Simeon. Levi are the Haitians. They are all on that same island. There's a reason why there has been like that war between them. And that I'll go into another time. That's a whole different teaching of what happened with that tribe, with those two tribes. All right. The tribe of Issachar are the Mexicans. The tribe of Zebulun, Panama and Costa Rica. The tribe of Ephraim are the Puerto Ricans. The tribe of Benjamin are the West Indians. All right. When you go through the different, what could I say, prophecies and things like that in the Bible, you'll find that out. Now people ask, who are they call, I guess they're called Jewish people, because the ones that are there now, those are basically Germans. Okay, they're from like Khazaria, they're Turkish, that type of thing. They came there from Europe. They're Europeans. They came there. They were converted Jews, but they're not the original bloodline Jews. All right. That's why I guess they call themselves Jewish, because when you're that ish means that you're around that culture or whatever. But we never called ourselves Jewish. We're Jews. We're bloodline Jews. But they tried to play it off as that we're just Africans. We're all just Africans. No, we're from the continent of Africa. But on the continent of Africa, there are about 53 countries. All right. So we came from Israel. So I'm saying to the 12 tribes, awaken, because it's time now. Christ is soon to return, and he's going to regather us back into our land eventually. A lot is going to happen in between now and then. The Bible says that Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles. Okay, that would be the nation of people that are there now. When Christ returns, of course, he will, he's going to renew the land, and we are going to be back in the land as priests and kings and, all of the things that were promised to our forefathers. So when we read the Bible today, it's composed of, summaries of things that happened. Now, what happened is you have the people in Rome that took the lost books of the Bible, the apocryphal books, because those books explain in detail what actually happened and what's going to happen and what's going on now. But they were found. So I do go back and use, the apocryphal books as part of my teachings, because they explain in detail what happened. Now we've been going over what happened with Jacob. He had a dream and everything, and the Lord came to him in a vision to tell him what his future was. So what he wanted to know from the angel that was there, he wanted to know, what does this mean, right? So we're going to go back over that so that, it makes sense, okay? So that we're not lost on what's going on. All right. So it talks about the ladder being set up, and I'm going to now the lost apocrypha of the Old Testament, the ladder of Jacob. You can go to Chrome and type that in. You could type that in, the lost apocrypha of the Old Testament, the ladder of Jacob, and you can download it and you can follow along with me. All right. It'll tell you what's going on. So I'm gonna try to get through this. I only have a little bit of time, but it says, and lo, a ladder was set up on the earth, whose top reached unto heaven, and the top of the ladder was a face of a man hewn out of fire. Right? There are angelic beings there that are fiery. Some of them are seraphim. Remember, Lucifer was a seraphim before he fell from heaven. All right. He was one that covered the Ark of the Covenant, and he was one of the best singers, in heaven and all of that kind of stuff. But he let that get to his head, and he decided that he wanted to become God, and the Lord cast him down. Right. So now it had 12 steps up to the top of the ladder, and upon each step to the top were two human faces on the right and the left. Right. Okay. And on the left, 24 faces seemed to their breasts on the ladder, but the middle face was higher than them all, which I saw made of fire. So to the shoulder and the arm, very terrible, more than the 24 faces. And I looked, and behold, the angels of God, of course, they were ascending and descending on the ladder. The ladder is a staircase. All right. So the Lord was above it all, and he called me, saying, Jacob, Jacob. And I said, Here am I, Lord. And he said to me, the land wherein thou sleepest will I give to thee and to thy seed after thee. I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, as of the sand of the sea. Through thy seed shall all the earth be blessed. And remember, wherever we go, of the 12 tribes, the earth is blessed. Look at America. Who are the top basketball players and athletes? The Black Negroes, right? And the other, because Shemites are basically Negroes. If you go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it tells you that they tried to say we were Hamites. That's why they were trying to call us Gentiles. We're not Gentiles, we're Shemites. We came from the line of Shem. When Noah got off the boat, he had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. The Hamites are the Africans, but the Shemites are the Israelites. All right, and that's us. So when in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it tells you Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. So the Hamites would be like the Egyptians and the other African nations. Those are Hamites. Shemites are Negroes. All right. So now, Jacob, okay, he's called Jacob. He said, Here am I, Lord. He said, I'm going to give you this land, and all the earth will be blessed through you. Right. So when I heard it from above, fear and trembling fell on me. I rose from my dream while the voice of God was yet in my ears. I said, How dreadful is this place, right? So he poured oil on the place as, reverence to the Lord and stuff like that, right? So now here he's saying, Lord, he said, the Lord God of Adam, Abraham, and Isaac, my father, and all whose ways are right before thee. Thou sittest mighty upon the cherubim and upon the throne of majesty of fire, full of eyes. And I saw in my dream, right? I saw in my dream that holds the cherubim with four faces, that bears the seraphim full of eyes, that bears the whole world under his arm and is born of none. So he's saying, I saw the Lord's vision. I saw the cherubim, the seraphim, and God himself, who is born of none. God has no beginning or no ending, right? So he knows that he saw something heavenly, right? This was no ordinary dream or vision, right? So now he's saying, thou hast established the heaven for the glory of thy name. Thou hast spread out upon the clouds of the heaven that flieth under thee, that under it thou mayest move the sun and hide it in the night, lest it be held for God. In other words, he understands now the stars and things like that you see in the sky. Stars are angels. So are the sun, the moon, and all of that. Those are angels just moving in their courses. All this other garbage that they keep telling us about, going into space and all that. No, those are angels, and they move in their courses so that they shine at certain times, so that we would know the seasons and things like that. It wasn't made for no astrology, where they be saying Aquarius and this and that. It wasn't made for that. It was made for the times and the seasons, just to guide us, how God wants us to be, and as far as our festivals and things like that he wants us to celebrate during the year. All right, the ingathering, the harvest time, and all of that, right? So now he says, I'm going to go down to the, and while I yet spake my prayer, there appeared a voice before my face saying, Seracle, prince of them that rejoice, thou art over visions. Go make Jacob to understand the interpretation. So now the Lord is sending an angel to make Jacob understand the interpretation of his dream, right? And he says, show him all things whatsoever he saw, but first bless him. And he charged Sarah, Archangel Seracle, came to me, and I saw it. It was a face. It was terrible, but I didn't fear before him like I did when I saw the other ones on the ladder. He said the one that had the fiery face, it scared him. All right. So now the angel's telling him, thy name shall not henceforth be called Jacob, which basically means trickster, right? But thy name shall be like my name, Israel. Okay. And when I came from Fandana in Syria to meet my brother Esau, he came to me and blessed me and called my name Israel, and told me not his name until I adjured him. And then he told me, because he said, because thou, what is it? Okay. So he told him that that's what his name is now going to be, Israel, right? Because as a prince has he warred in this situation, because he wants to know, what is God saying to him, right? So this he said to me, the ladder which you saw, which had 12 steps having 2 human faces, which changed their appearances. Now this ladder is this age, and the 12 steps are the times of this age, and the 24 faces are the kings of the lawless heathen of this age. Under these kings will be tried of thy sons. They will rise up against the lawlessness of thy descendants, and will lay his place waste through 4 descendants. So he's warning him too, that they're going to be coming unlawful people, excuse me, that your descendants will have to struggle with. All right. Okay. Now, the substance of the forefathers will be built in this place, and the temple of the name of thy God and thy fathers, right? But through the wrath of thy descendants will it be desolate unto the 4th descendants of this age. For you saw 4 visions. Because remember, now Israel sinned a lot of times and didn't obey God. So At different times, we went into captivity. We went into like 12 different captivities, but this is the last one here in America, right? Now, the first that stumbled on the steps, angels ascending and descending in their faces in the midst of the steps. The Most High will raise up an heir of the descendants of thy brother Esau, and all the lords of the nations of the earth will accept it, who have done evil against thy seed, and will be given into his hand, and he will be hardly borne by them. But he beginneth to rule them with violence and to reign over them, and they cannot resist him until the day when his decree goeth forth against them to serve the idols. So remember, the Gentile nations serve idols. They are the nation of people. Esau became that nation of Europeans, of Europeans, of the Gentile nations. Now, not all Gentiles serve idols or are against the Lord or anything like that, but a large majority of them are. It came through the disobedience of Esau, because Esau originally was born into the, what would be the Israelite nation, but because he lost his birthright, he became the Gentile nation. He started to have wives that were of the Canaanites, and the Canaanites were mixed in with the seeds of the Nephilim, which were the fallen angels who were cohabitating with the women on the earth, and then had the nerve to ask Enoch to go to God and ask him to forgive them. So these Gentile nations started basically from Esau with rebelling against the Lord. So Esau was no more having a part with Israel. His part was with the European nations. So for him to go and start ruling over these areas, and then they started moving to the Caucasus, mountains and stuff like that. But when they got here to America, so that they would be against us, fighting against our seed, that's when they started calling them white people instead of Germans or Russians or that type of thing. They started that thing about them being white people, and then they started telling them that Jesus Christ was white, and they started painting the picture of Caesar Borgia as Jesus Christ being this white man with this long blonde hair. But this was a man that came from a family that their father was like a pope, and they were a very villainous group of people. But because he looked, calm in his face and all of that, they felt that they could use his picture here in America to deceive us, to have us believing that we were the Gentile nations and that Christ was European. And that we had no chance. So this is why I tell you, you cannot leave it up to the white nation of people to teach your kids Black history. You can't, because our history has been changed and tainted over and over again. But when they go to Africa, which is the birthplace of us all, the more they dig, the blacker it gets. Okay, so now it's coming to fruition where even the rabbis are starting to admit, yeah, that's true. You all are the bloodline Jews. Yes, we are the converted Jews. And there's nothing wrong with saying you're converted, but don't lie and say that we're Hamites that came from Africa. No, we fled to Africa because we fled to further into Africa, rather, because Israel is in Northeast Africa, even though they try to say it's not. It is. We fled into Africa because of the Roman and Jewish wars, especially in 70 AD. I know that because my family has the chart for where our people came from. So you're not fooling me, and you're not fooling a lot of people, because the Lord said in the Bible, the ones to wake up first would be the tribe of Judah, and my people come from that tribe. So I know the lies that were taught to us here. So you need to learn your history, okay? And Hebrew Israelites, we're Hebrew by blood, and we're Israelites by nationality. That's it. That's all. We're not trying to bother nobody and all of that and put hate out there. I don't hate nobody. Of course, over time, our people mixed in with different nations of people and things like that. That's why we have so many different shades, you know, in the black race. So that's why you have light skin, dark skin, and all of that kind of stuff, because of slavery as well. So you have leprosy, you have vitiligo, you have you know, that started basically the white nation. And then when they brought us over here to be slaves, they cohabitated with our women, and that's how, you know, you get all these different complexions amongst the black nation of people, of the black race of people. But we are black people, all right? So we're no longer fooled by that we're some Gentile people that just, you know, appeared here in boats, and that these people were so nice to us and all of that. No, they brought us over here for slavery. They never thought we were going to come out of slavery on the plantation. There are other, since then, the prison is another slave plantation. Even the job force has been another slave plantation for us. So we've been through different elements of slavery, all right? And America will be the last enslavement for us before Babylon falls, because America has that spirit of Babylon. No, it's Babylon. If you go in Revelation and all throughout the Bible, you know that this is Babylon. Babylon in the Bible is a spirit, and that spirit is alive and relevant, is alive and relevant to what's going to happen to America. So I'm saying to our people of the 12 tribes, get your kids and tell them the truth. Learn the truth for yourself and get your kids and tell them the truth. And to white brothers and sisters, just be honest. You know, nobody wants to blame you for what happened, because it's not your fault. But we're going to fight against you trying to continue this nonsense with us. We don't hate you. We have no reason to hate you. But we're not going to continue to take the nonsense that continues in this country. And that racism is going to be the fall of this country, which is, it's pathetic, but it was going to happen all along because it didn't start right. You know, Columbus coming over here and then putting smallpox inside the blankets and giving it to people. And, you know, all of these different things, the different things that they've given our children since being here, where our kids have ADD and autism. I mean, come on. And they want to make it seem like, oh, that's just in the black gene. No, it's not. It's not in the black gene. Even over there in Africa, where you know, the people were getting Ebola and stuff like that. That stuff was coming from some of those white missionaries coming over there, pretending that they were on their side and all of that kind of stuff. But they were injecting that crap into those people. All right. So we're aware now. We know the nonsense that's going on. We're not going for it anymore. We're coming out with the truth. The truth will not just set you free, it makes you free. So we just want you to know who we are, what we do. We're getting back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of our people. The feasts that we're supposed to follow, we're following those feasts. We're no longer going to be thrown off by these holidays that they made up to throw us off. All right, because if you notice, all of those holidays that they have somewhat similarity that our people have been serving for thousands of years. When the Lord first brought out the law, statutes, and commandments and told us what feasts to celebrate and stuff like that. We know that these other little feasts are just about greed, and Christmas has nothing to do with Christ. It just has to do about, oh, I'm getting a gift. I need a gift. And, you know, making your kids spoiled and all of that kind of stuff for gifts and all of that kind. It has nothing to do with Christ. If it was about Christ, it would be all about Christ. And it's not. Okay. So we're no longer fooled about that. All right. So everybody has a right to do what they want to do. Go ahead on. You know, that's up to you. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We're getting back to the law, statutes, and commandments that are in that Bible. We're not playing this foolishness no more. about, just being quiet about things and, well, maybe it'll pass over. No, it's not going to pass over. They're never going to acknowledge us, as people. They still think of us as property and cattle and all of that kind of stuff. All right. So we're going to continue with Jacob's dream so that you know what this means for Jacob and for his descendants. Okay, because we have to know what we're here for, what we're still going to experience. There's going to be a time of plenteous for us. It is. How the reparations will come about, I don't know, but don't expect that they're going to give it over to us, because they keep overlooking us. If you notice, every time you turn around, they got a new group of people coming in and they're giving them money and saying, oh, we don't have enough money for y'all to, even though we built the country, because they didn't, they did it off the backs of us as slaves. All right. And then once they got, to where they wanted to be, guess what? Again, slavery in the sports arena, right? Though I hate to say it, but the football players, basketball players, and all of that, they make crazy money off of those people, right? But that's Bible prophecy, because our people went off course from the Bible. But the Bible says Esau is the end of this world. Jacob is the beginning of the next. So Esau's world is falling. It's coming to a close, and Jacob will rule as the Bible says. But when we get in place of authority, we're not going to rule like they did. We're going to show them how it should have been done, through love, kindness, peace, and justice. That's all. We ain't about, I'm going to lord it over you. I want to, and all of that kind of stuff. No, we want, as the Bible said, let thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So when Christ returns, he will be our governor and ruler, and he will rule and reign in peace. We will be in Jerusalem with him, doing our duties as we were supposed to be in the first place. All right. Thank you for joining the show. The show that's all about life's balance. Continue to watch the show, share it. Okay. Watch me on Saturday from 7 to 8 p.m. On BronxNet.tv and channel 951 and 2137. Watch me on, on those cable channels. Also share my YouTube videos. Go join the YouTube channel today. Tell your people, join it, because Crystal is sharing some jewels with us for this last day in time. We're in the last days, y'all. This is the beginning of sorrows. And as you see with them letting people get away with that kind of thing, it's going to get worse. You're going to see more, I hate to say, more violence and stuff like that. It's going to happen because you can't rule a people through racist supremacy. All right. So God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. This is Crystal Jones signing off, saying you stay balanced.
Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits, fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there. Not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.